Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris, and you're watching V-Sense. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about a collection of fragrances. The ones that I have here are, as you have seen by the title, by the house of Christian Dior. We have the Poison collection in the house. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the fragrances that are in this collection, at least the eau de toilettes. Just so you do know, all of the ones that I do have here today are eau de toilettes. I don't have any parfums or eau de parfums from this collection that we're going to be showcasing today. We're going to get the ones that are the most accessible that you can get at most department stores or online. And we're going to see if the collection is underhyped, because it's one of those collections that doesn't get a lot of love or attention, such as J'adore or Miss Dior or Sauvage. Those lines get lots of love from everyone, but the Poison collection has kind of died down. So let's get into it to see which one is the best and which one is the best for you. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you like the content that you are seeing today. So starting off with the OG fragrance, we do have here Poison. This is Poison Eau de Toilette. This is what the fragrance looks like. Actually, in person, it looks a little bit darker. You actually cannot see through it in person here. The reason you can see through it on your end is because there's a lot of bright lights here, and obviously it does make it transparent. It looks really nice, actually. So this fragrance was launched in 1985. It is Poison. It was originally launched during that time of the 80s. So 85, you know, big hair, shoulder pads, power suits. This is what this fragrance represents. It's a very spicy, over-the-top fragrance. One of the 80s housewives would wear. It's very sexy, very sultry, very sophisticated. Lots of vanilla, lots of plum in this fragrance. It is plum heavy and heavy on spices. This fragrance, just so you do know, if you are anyone that is below the age of 40, you may not like this one. Just because it is a little strong, it can be categorized as a grandma fragrance. It can be categorized as one of those fragrances that is a little mature or reminds us of an older figure. But all of those stereotypes aside, this fragrance is a really nice one, actually. I do recommend this one. I personally do not wear it myself, obviously, but it is one of those fragrances that I could certainly see myself wearing. I do love this fragrance. It is a little bit overpowering. Do keep that in mind. It's a very long wearing, high performing fragrance. For an eau de toilette, this performs better than extrait de parfum fragrances that are from today's world. So if you want something that's strong, something that is spicy, something that has plum in it, so it has this very unique, soft, powdery, and sweet, as well as spicy ambiance to the fragrance. So although it is one of those 80s fragrances, it's not a Chanel number 5, for example. It's not a black opium. This is more in line with something like Coco Eau de Parfum would be, but this is a little bit more dramatic than that one. The next one we have here is Hypnotic Poison. This fragrance is one of those that either you love or you hate. You're not going to be in the middle. It's not going to be one of those fragrances that you are going to say, oh, I kind of like it. No, it's not one of those. It's very polarizing. You either think it's the sexiest thing and the best thing since sliced bread, or you think it is nasty. For me, it's a little hard to say which one I align with of those opinions, because I do really think it's a sexy fragrance. It's very sophisticated. It is vanilla, it is jasmine, and it kind of smells like licorice to me a little bit. Hear me out. It is one of those fragrances that when I worked for the brand, I always got to sell this one. And when I showcased it to the right person, this fragrance would sell out very quickly whenever I worked at Dior. Now, the problem with this fragrance is that I never myself could see myself or see someone that, you know, was around me wearing this fragrance, because it is so intoxicating. And with that being said, it is a fragrance that I would certainly say is for night clubbing or a dinner or a date. It's a very dressy up fragrance. It has a lot of drama to it. It has a lot of sophistication to it. It is a great way to flirt without actually flirting with someone. This is what that fragrance represents. And just so you do know, this fragrance, I would say, like I said, smells a little like licorice. It's not quite a licorice fragrance. because it's not even listed as a note, but it does have that quality to it. And it's just because of the way that all the notes have mixed. Now, again, because everyone's nose is a little bit different, licorice may smell different to me than it does to you. To me, I think of licorice as vanilla, kind of candy-like, a little bit of bitterness to it, and that's what this fragrance does have. It's a sweet, candy-like product. It also has that very sophisticated touches to it. It has a floral heart with jasmine inside of it, and then it has those spices that are so familiar and so iconic for the Poison collection. This is a really good one. Like I said, if you can go out and get this one and smell it, go ahead and smell it, spray it on, and I guarantee you you'll get compliments. Definitely check out Hypnotic Poison by Christian Dior. The next one we have here is Pure Poison. This fragrance is a white floral fragrance. It has lots of floral notes in this fragrance. It has a touch of the spices. It's obviously part of this Poison collection, so it's going to be a little bit on the spicy side, but it's a floral spicy fragrance with a little bit of woody elements to it. It leans more onto that woody with a hint of spice and then a lot of white florals. And if you like white florals, you might like this fragrance. It does reminisce of a lot of other fragrance. It's done in a more classic tone. So it's done in a more, early 2000s because it was launched in 2004. But it is a nice fragrance overall. If you can get your hands on this one, I would certainly say to check it out because it is one of those that's a little romantic. It's a little too feminine for me to ever wear, but it is one of those fragrances that I could see someone wearing on their wedding day and it just being something so magical, something so beautiful for them to be able to wear. And it is a very nice bottle as well. It's not my favorite one in this collection. I think it kind of looks a little cheap if you ask me, but it's not ugly by any means. Just for price wise, they have gone up quite a lot. I remember these used to be $96 whenever I worked for Dior for the 3.4 size one. Now they're a lot more. Let's see. So according to Dior's website, if you get a 3.4 ounce bottle, it is $160. If you purchase the 1.7, it is $130. And if you get a 1 ounce bottle, you would be paying $100 US. So quite a lot more expensive. You're paying $100 for the smallest size. It has gone up quite a bit, but it is a very nice fragrance. Just so you do know, I wanted to correct myself. This is an eau de parfum. This is an eau de toilette, and this one's an eau de toilette as well. So they don't have the eau de toilette version of this guy anymore. I believe it has gotten discontinued. The next one we have here is Poison Girl. This is the eau de toilette. The funny thing is when I worked for Dior, we actually launched this fragrance. It was originally launched exclusively to France, and then it got released to every other European country, and then it went globally. And then we would say to our boss, when are we getting that fragrance? Like everyone else keeps asking for it. There was all these big ads and we didn't get it. Then they just decided to launch it with no promotion really, and it really didn't do very well in the beginning. But this is the eau de toilette. Just so you do know, mine has changed colors quite significantly. There's supposed to be a beautiful type of purple pink color hue to the liquid inside of here. It does have vanilla, so just take into consideration that when you get a vanilla fragrance, it will change in color and become a lot deeper as it oxidizes. And that only happens when you start spraying the fragrance because oxygen does make vanilla oxidize, and when you spray it, you're pumping oxygen in through the pump. Anywho, this fragrance was launched in 2017 and it only lists 3 different notes inside of it. So it has grass rose, it also has tonka bean in here, and it also contains bitter orange. So this fragrance is one of those that I like. This fragrance is one of those that I would certainly say is a little hard to, wrap your head around because it's a little bit generic, and that might sound a little mean, but it doesn't smell like a Dior fragrance. Dior fragrances have a very different characteristic to other ones. They're usually very opulent, so that can be in the format of like Miss Dior. Miss Dior is very opulent, but in a very feminine way, so it's very romantic, but it's over the top romantic. You have the Poison collection, which gives you drama, and this one, being part of the Poison collection, should have been drama. And what did we get with this one? We got a very basic fragrance. It is one of those fragrances that I would certainly say that if it was in a Ralph Lauren bottle or if it was in an Yves Saint Laurent bottle, it could fit in that collection, but it doesn't quite fit with the Dior range. There's also a little bit of spices in this fragrances, and I also can tell there's a tiny bit of sandalwood in this fragrance, but it isn't one of those notes that's actually listed on the website. But I would certainly say that this one is not a unique fragrance. It's nothing to marvel about. I'm sorry if you like it, but it's something that's kind of a basic bitch fragrance. And with that being said, you know, that's not an insult to anyone. It's just that they created it to be mass market, to be something that absolutely everyone's gonna like. So it's not a bad fragrance. It just smells like something that anyone and everyone would want to wear, which Intel, you know, does deliver great sales, but it doesn't really do much for the actual Poison collection. And it should have been a little bit more unique and uniquely done in a more modern way. You know, that is something that can be done. We do see other brands like Kilian, which has terrible performance, but they are able to make unique smelling scents. Definitely go ahead and check out this one if that's something you want. The Poison Girl Eau de Toilette. I don't have the Eau de Parfum. There is an Eau de Parfum version, by the way. And I do have a bonus fragrance here. This one is Midnight Poison. Yay! Now this is like history here. Like let's just say this is a rarity to find in the fragrance market anymore. I have searched far and high, low and wide to get this fragrance. It was actually gifted to me by someone that worked at Dior when I worked there as well. And this fragrance is I don't know why this was discontinued because it has such a beautiful chemistry to it. It has such a beautiful composition. It is just done well. It's done significantly well. It is done tastefully. It is done in a Poison way, but very modern, very clean, very refined. And I don't know why it was discontinued. So Eva Green was the model for this fragrance. They did a beautiful campaign where she's swinging off of a chandelier and it strikes midnight like if it's going to be New Year. A very nice campaign. I think the music selection is awful, but besides that, this fragrance itself had quite a bit of hype when it launched, and it was a very nice fragrance. And like I said, out of all of these, if this one was still around, I would probably keep a bottle on backup because it's just so good. It has a blue element to the Poison family, so while it grabs the spices and it makes them a little bit softer, it also adds like a little bit of fresh water to it. So it really does interpret to what it does say. So this is if you were to take a skinny dip in the middle of the night, it's a full moon, you smell the breeze of the trees, you know, in the summertime coming towards you. Very nice, very well done. And I would certainly say that if you can get your hands on this one, do purchase it. And if you can get your hands on it, can you just like write a comment down below so I can go get another bottle, because this is a masterpiece and it's really, really, really sad that it's gone. And I really wish that we had a new version of this, or we had this one still in storage. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and you know, Dior decided to axe it fairly quickly after its launch. But thank you so much for viewing today's video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on the fragrances. Which one is your favorite? Do you like any of them? Do you wear the Poison collection? Let me know down below. Make sure to thumbs up the video and subscribe for more fragrance related content here on B Scents. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.